Toronto values have dropped 14% since the peak in February. We're going to peel the onion away right after the intro. We're going to look at the McGowan Report for the month of June and see what's going on. That's right, my friends. Values have dropped. We're going to look at the report. We're going to look at the numbers, look at the stats. We're also going to pull up my showing app, which is going to show us how many showings are being registered on properties and booked on properties. And we'll look at number of offers. We'll choose the city of Markham because that's always a good, big enough area for us to look at. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been reaching out to me. Lots of colleagues over this past week have been reaching out. And if you haven't caught any of my other videos, especially with Dion Begg, our mortgage broker, go look at that video. We just shot one the other day, all talking about what's going on with our new mayor in Toronto and how that's going to affect some of the housing and the things, the initiatives that she wants to do, as well as what's going on with inflation. And we had our bond rates creep up to 4%. So what's that going to do to our 5-year terms? Well, interest rates are going up based on some of that. So that's what you need to go look at if you are in the business, or I should say, if you are in the market for obviously refinancing your property or renewing your mortgage on your property, of course, or if you're buying a property, get aligned with Dion and his team. It's important that you have that pre-consult before you go buy. Okay. What's going on in the McGowan Report? We're going to look at that right now and see where we're at in Toronto. And I can tell you there's going to be a lot of numbers and a lot of headlines and a lot of tweets and everything else that comes out and says, we are ahead of last year. But are we ahead of where we were in January, February this year? And I've already let the cat out of the bag. No, we're going to look at that. We're going to see where we're going and what's trending, what's going on in all of Toronto. So let's do that. Let's pull up the McGowan Report. Here it is. You can always download it in the show notes. Use this, download it, send it to your friends, your colleagues, your cat, your mom, whomever. And if you are another realtor, use this to help educate your clients as well. This is something I put together every month. And if you need something more specific than the broad area of the Toronto market. So we cover from Durham all the way into the Oakville area and of course up to the Simcoe region, Innisfil area. That's where all of these numbers are coming in. So that's a big area. If you need something more specific, like Markham or Richmond Hill or a specific area in Peel, a community in Peel, let me know and we can pull that report for you. Okay, let's get to it. Number of new listings. This is kind of the quick overview. If you don't want to watch anymore, you got it right here. But we're going to scroll down and we're going to look at what's going on here. And new listings, the first slide that we'll always look at is the current month of June. Then we'll look at year to date. So you can see we're hovering at approximately 19,000 or I should say 20,000 new listings, which is down from last year. You can see approximately 5% down new listings. But I got to tell you, in the last couple of weeks in June, we're seeing that number increase dramatically. And we'll look at that in just a second. So the gray that we're looking at is the current year and black is obviously last year. And you can see January, ever since January, we started at about 10,000 and we've been creeping all the way up into the 20,000 since the beginning of the year. So we started the year with a lack of inventory and now that inventory is catching up to where we're typically at. So this is interesting as we look down and year to date, we have 91,000 listings, which is obviously down from last year, down 23%. You can see that there. And a good number in this area is about 20,000 listings. As we just kind of looked at, that's a good number to be at for the month of June into July in the summer months. However, we're going to look at what's sold and is that keeping up or is this outpacing the properties that are selling? As we look at the average price, now the average price is interesting because that's going to change the strategy on how you list and how you market your home for sale is going to change as the market shifts. So when the market's really hot, perhaps you price your home just slightly below market value to generate multiple offers. And then when the market slows down, perhaps you price at the value that you want. So that's obviously going to change where we're sitting right now. And you can see that number has risen over the last several months, and that is really based on that strategy. And I bet you what we'll see in the month of July as that unfolds for us, that number is probably going to hover around 1.3 even is going to be my guess there. Because, of course, as more properties come to market, people are going to adjust their pricing and move their pricing down to stand out from the crowd. So we're going to watch out for that. Asking price, this is the year-to-date. Well, of course, the year-to-date numbers is going to be increasing for us. But as I just said, I think that's going to hover and just kind of plateau there and perhaps even come down ever so slightly into the summer months, which is typical for summer months, but perhaps not typical for this type of market that we're in. So we peaked in the month of May at 10,700 properties selling on Toronto Real Estate Board, and we dropped pretty significantly down to 8.6. That's 2,000 properties less than the previous month. So that's a huge impact to the market and to the seller's mindset. And they're wondering what's going on. Maybe my property's not selling. That's 2,000 properties that didn't sell according to the prior month. So that's a big shift and a big change, and people have to get their mind wrapped around what that looks like. That's why previously I just said the marketing and the advertising and the valuation that people come out with on their listings, that's going to be adjusted definitely over July as people reevaluate the valuations of what's happening there. Sold properties year to date, we're at 46,700. Year to date last year, we're at 56,000. So approximately 10,000 properties less. That's obviously a big change. And I think we're going to still see that trend down a little bit compared to last year as well. As we look at the average sale price. Now, this is where I'm going to say we're just the same as last year. If you look at this column right in here, you're going to say, hey, are exactly where we were at last year. But if I remove that and we look to see what's going on here, we are ever so slightly increasing. However, what you need to know is the number of properties that are still sitting on the market. They're reevaluating that price. And I truly do believe this number is going to come down. And as you can see, it came down ever so slightly here, ever so slightly from the previous month. So we're going to start to see that just kind of hover and stick around that 1.13, 1.14 range into the summer months for sure. As I look at the year to date, we are hovering at 1.12. Year to date to me doesn't do too much. I want to know current stats. In fact, I want to know last week's stats and see where we're trending there. Days on market, that number went down compared to last year. However, the previous days, you can see that we're still hovering around 17.3 days on market. However, I do believe we're going to see that increase. And if in our previous videos, you've heard me say we're going to see that increase probably by a day or two over the next month or two. It takes a couple of months for that to start going up. We are not going to see a big increase from one month to the next just based on the way that they calculate it. However, if you're seeing properties on the market, maybe you're in the market to purchase a home, ask your realtor or ask me to look at properties that have been on the market for 30 days plus. There's a number of them, and maybe those are the homes that we should go be looking at, because those are the homes that have been sitting there a little bit stale, and perhaps the sellers haven't caught up to the new pricing yet maybe there's an opportunity for you as a buyer. Days on market year to date is sitting at 20. Year to date on days on market doesn't have a huge impact. I want to know current time. As I just said, ask to sell ratio. Well, again, that becomes that when we peel that onion away, that has a lot to do with the selling strategy and the marketing strategy of that listing. So we're sitting at 103%, 104%, but we're going to start seeing that come back down to approximately, I'm going to say 99, 100% as sellers reevaluate their valuation on the properties and look at that. You don't want your property sitting there. You do not want your property sitting on the market. You don't want to be on the market. You want to be in the market, right? You've heard me say that before. Excellent. So here's what I want to do next. Obviously, you download this report, digest it, get some of that information. But I want to look at the real-time data, and we're going to look at the city of Markham of what's going on with the number of showings, how that compares to last month, not last year, last month, and see if there's a trend there. And we're going to look at homes that are currently for sale, all property types, and we can see that right here. So here's the chat from Broker Bay. This is the app that we use to book all of our showings. I'd say of all the listings that are on the Toronto Real Estate Board, it's got to be about 98% of all the listings go through this system to go book showings. And we're here in the city of Markham. We're looking at all property types, excluding commercial and land. And I have it set up here where the blue is the previous month, and the green is the month prior to that. So we're looking here and we see 18,000 showings. Well, that's down. Don't look at the year over year. That has no bearing on what's going on. I want to look at the month over month, which is down 12%. So we saw 12% less showings than the previous month in the city of Markham. We had 332 properties sell, all property types there. And you can see that this number is trending down, and we're looking at this on a daily side. And you can see definitely over the last week that those numbers were down. But of course, over the last week and the weekend, a lot of people were starting vacations. So schools were ending. Of course, we had Canada Day long weekend entering into July 1st and so forth. However, we're going to see that number dip always. That's going to be a trend always. But you can see here that if there were, call it 700 listings, 18,000 showings, and if we look here, the number of offers, 1,041 on those, call it 700 listings. So every home received an offer, some received two. And maybe another way to look at it is some received 0 offers and maybe a handful of properties received multiple offers. That would be another way to look at it. Offers were down 30% month over month, and we're going to see that number go down again next month. That's where the number of offers goes down, as well as the listings go up, as well as the days on market go up. So this is a real-time view of what's happening there in the city of Markham. And Markham has a good range from condos to obviously detached homes, and we know that, and it's a big geographic area just north of Toronto. So interesting stuff of what's going on there. I know I pulled some stats and put them on my Instagram feed, so feel free to look at it. Just some quick snapshots at what's going on. I know in the month of June, the number of listings skyrocketed in York Region. So here's the York Region numbers, and you can see here the number of the months of inventory is down ever so slightly. However, we're going to see that move up. Months of inventory means if no other properties went up for sale, it would take us currently 2 months to sell out of everything. And this is for all of York Region. And you can see that average price is down 4.4% from the previous month. And new listings are up 130%. That's a huge increase. Sold listings are down 23%. So we're seeing some dramatic numbers in York Region here. And these are the types of things that we need to stay ahead of. Let's look at Toronto's numbers specifically. Not all of the Toronto Real Estate Board. We're just going to look at the Toronto city to see what's happening there. Now here's Toronto. Our months of inventory remained the same, and you can see the average price is down 3.7%. Of course, this is against all property types. And our new listings are up 1% in the city of Toronto, yet sold listings are down 13.7%. So what does that tell us moving into the month of July and August? We're going to see more listings come up, as well as we're going to see days on market move up. We're going to see months of inventory move up, in my opinion. And we're also going to see the sold listings down. Now, so what does that tell us? Well, I'm going to say some of the things that we're looking at and what perhaps we can expect is another interest rate hike, maybe moving into next week. I'm filming this on July 7th, and we're talking about job numbers or unemployment increasing, which is a good thing because our government is trying to bring those inflation numbers down. And one of the benchmarks for that to happen is for unemployment to increase. So we're seeing some good signs there. However, it sounds like we're going to still see an interest rate hike throughout the summer. So that'll be interesting. Let's watch out for that. So there you have it, my friends. Reach out to me. I'm always happy to take some phone calls and messages. Send me a message, whether it's on Instagram or email or text me. I'm happy to have that. You want my text number here? Let me put this up. The Dancing Gary, my number comes up on screen there. So make sure you get that. that. And I'm always thrilled to connect with people. If you need to reach out to a mortgage broker like Dion, make sure you do that, and we'll help you get your way sorted there, because these are tough times, and I know people are going through refinancing or renewal of their mortgage. They're going from a 2.5% up to 5 or more percent on their mortgages, and we need to navigate that correctly and get the right information to you. So we'll see everybody on the next video. Bye for now.